So the trial of a Dublin firefighter who's accused of rape is underway in Boston, and we're hoping to get some detailed court reporting from this over the coming days because it's a very interesting trial and a story that really broke even before Terence Crosbie was brought before a court.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a big story over in Boston as well. I mean, not everything that involves an Irish citizen is made getting such headlines, but in part it is because the offence occurred on following a St. Patrick's Day parade. There was 10 officers from Dublin Fire Brigade over to march in the parade. Terence Crosbie was one of them. There was 5 hotel rooms rented out with 2 officers in each room, and obviously then there's an allegation of rape has been made by a woman. She's described as a lawyer in the US court. She's not named, given the anonymity provided to alleged sex assault victims. But she claims that she was raped by Terence Crosbie, and partly why it's generated a lot of publicity was that he was initially interviewed by the police, voluntarily interviewed, and then he went to get on a plane, which he was due to get on to fly back to Ireland, and he was taken off the plane. So all of that has fed into, it being a big story in the US. Obviously, to be clear, Terence Crosbie has strongly denied it and has denied it at all points.
And his wife is in attendance with him in the court and is sticking by him and is supportive of him in the courtroom.
Yes, and so we've heard a couple of days' evidence. We've certainly heard the opening statements, which includes the statement from the alleged victim. And yesterday we heard
the victim's her identity's been protected.
Her identity's being protected. So the basics of the story are that Terence Crosbie and a number of the other firemen were out drinking. At one point during the night, one of Terence Crosbie's roommate, a guy called Liam O'Brien, met with this woman. They were together. She went back to his room. They had what's described as a consensual experience. Following that, she says she fell asleep. There was 2 beds, obviously, in the room, and she says her claim is that she woke up to being raped by Terence Crosbie. Terence Crosbie has given a different version of events. He describes how he remained out while his roommate went back to the room. At some point in the early hours of the morning, he went into his room, which he obviously was entitled to do. He says he saw the woman there, but she promptly left. He might have said hello to her, and that's the extent of his interactions, and she departed from the room. He didn't see her being upset or anything of the sort. And what he also, we've also heard evidence then from a number of medical professionals, including a medical professional who assessed the woman in the aftermath, because she instantly reported the alleged attack, and his DNA has not been found on her. That was also described to the court. So yesterday we heard...
There was a Detective Joseph McDonough.
Again, like another Irish name, I suppose, and that's probably...
And he was described as having investigated the case back in March 2024, and he was asked about footage from this Omni Parker house, where they were staying, basically. And he described how he looked at footage from the Black Rose pub as well on State Street, where Mr. Crosbie and his friend Liam O'Brien and the alleged victim had spent time before the alleged incident, he said. And he said that he, in evidence, said that Liam O'Brien was the consensual partner of the woman. And I think he looked at some CCTV at that hotel. Yeah, so obviously Terence Crosbie arrives at some point, and you can see that on CCTV. He goes up to the room, and obviously there's an electronic key card which shows him clocking into the room. So in the aftermath, Terence Crosbie was interviewed at the scene. So the woman reported it. The police came to the hotel and they interviewed him in a recorded interview, and that interview was played to the court yesterday. He was asked about what were they doing in the Black Rose pub. Mr. Crosbie replies, drink, and then he describes he gives an account of what he says happened when he came to the room. He says, I came back here, I went up to the room. Yeah, I did leave the room. Liam came back. He picked up a girl at the bar. I just left.
I came back later. I sat on the chair beside the elevators on my floor. I was there for a couple of hours. I just went straight to my bed. She got up out of bed. She started looking around in the dark. I didn't speak to her. And then when he was asked if she was crying, because that had been part of her statement, he said, I don't know. She didn't show that she was crying. And asked if he had any interaction with the girl. Mr. Crosbie said none. Said hello, said goodbye. And then the detective asked, had she slept in his bed? He said, not to the best of my knowledge. And he was asked directly then, at any point did you have sex with her? And he replies, no. And the police then asked, would he be surprised if she said otherwise? And Crosbie replies, 100%. So that's his account. Now, in the earlier opening statements, she gave a different account.
Now, also the timings on the hotel room 610 are that at 11:55 that night, Crosbie, according to the hotel security video, swiped his key card. Sorry, he left the hotel at that time and he swiped his key card back into the room at 1:55 a.m. and the door then opened from inside at 2:15 a.m. when the woman left. So they have the timings. Sometimes when allegations of crimes happen in hotels, they do say they are the perfect crime scene because obviously any movement in and out of the room is marked by the key card. The rooms are usually cleaned every night. So what you have is, well, as much as, forensics can be cleaned away, but they are cleaned on a nightly basis. So you kind of have a fresh situation in a room every day, should an incident be alleged in it for, sweeping it for any sort of forensics and stuff. I've no doubt that this will come up within the trial, and then you're seeing already the exact timings that the hotel security have,
and obviously
and a lot of
CCTV absolutely
exactly.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Now, in the opening statement earlier in the week, District Attorney Danielle Mendez said the woman, the alleged victim, said she endured a nightmare, and she set out, our nightmares belong in our sleep, and the nightmare is supposed to end when you wake up. And that was her case. She said this nightmare began as this woman woke up. The district attorney told the court that the woman woke up at some point of the night and Crosbie was allegedly raping her. And the court heard how the woman left the room, she says, at 2:15, and 20 minutes after Crosbie had entered the room, and she messaged a friend to say she had been assaulted, and then went to the hospital where she spoke to the police. So there's that is going to be the essence of the case, I suppose.
Jennifer Ozog, a forensic scientist from New Hampshire State Police, has been giving some evidence. She is being described as the person who examined evidence for the presence of semen and saliva, and the court has heard so far she was sent 6 pairs of men's underwear and examined each one individually for biological staining, 2 pairs of the underwear with fluorescent staining, and one had a confirmatory positive presence of semen.
Yeah.
Now, we'll hear more of that evidence kind of as the days go on. But as I said, we just wanted to touch on this case, and we will hopefully have some robust court reporting over the coming days.
Yes.
Thanks a million.
Thanks, Nicola.